I've talked a lot about the even curse of the jaunts, but I didn't think it would play out like that, because the last jaunt 2, before I started doing the podcast, jaunt 2 was a trip in October where it was too cold, and so I sorted that out and then got lots of layers in charity shops and things. That's why I have base layers now, and why I have a decent sleeping bag, a down sleeping bag. There's a reason for that trip, because it was just like, I realised the Carrymore wasn't 3 seasons, it was barely 1 season, because on jaunt 3, even though it's summer, I was still cold at night. So, but J6 was when my backpack broke on that trip. Day 6 is today, and I've just fallen over 1.6 miles from Kimmeridge. I'm still trying to get to Kimmeridge before it gets dark. I think I'll make it because I'm at the Clevel Tower, but I don't want to say I will, because my luck today has been so bad with buses and this. And so it looks like a scrape, but what I'm worried about is not so much where it's at now, although I will say this, elastoplast, you are shit, because I did take a first aid kit. And you'll say, but why? The picture you showed, there was no plasters on it. Yeah, because they all fell off, because I was using sunblock all day on my knees. And even though I used a sterile wipe on it first, even Gorilla Tape would not fit. I was like, I've got some Gorilla Tape wrapped around my top of my water bottle. That is kind of partially intentionally. Sometimes people do that around their walking sticks, just so you've got tape in emergencies. That didn't stick to my skin. So we'll see what happens when I get to properly wash it when I get back to the campsite, which is a big issue, because although I'm 1.6 miles from Kimmeridge, I'm still 3 miles from the campsite. And there's been so many nettles and scratchy things and thistles, and when I fell down, what happened is these paths have sometimes, I don't know how they're created, but they're either little fault lines in the earth, maybe through the erosion, or just erosion from people, but there's sometimes very big ditches by the side of the thing, and they're covered in green stuff, especially where it was gorse and bushes. And so I didn't see that. I missed the path. One leg went down there, and it kept going down. So it wasn't a little tiny thing, it was actually a massive hole. And so that got scraped to nettles. And then the other one hit my bad knee, the same knee I smacked into concrete about 6 to 8 months ago. Hit the deck and started bleeding. And it's still bleeding, but not as bad as it was. Well, it's sort of red, hasn't scabbed up, but it's not dropping blood. But so, and I can walk on it, but I'm now sort of rushing to try and get out of this hellscape of a walk, which I thought was going to be, a simple 2 miles, turns out to be about 3 or 4. That's no biggie. But then I forgot about the big hill at the start. That's fine. I think the rest of it's fairly flat, which it is. And then I go and have a tumble. And I never used to do this. It's been the second time, like 6 or 8 months, maybe just getting old. But yeah, it was a similar thing that happened with my other leg. Walking down those sort of concrete steps, it was just like slap, bang, and there you are. So what I'm worrying about is what will happen when I stop walking, because that's when it will swell up. I've already taken some ibuprofen. and I'm already wondering about the rest of the trip. And it's like after that and the mattress, I'm like, this trip is so fated to not happen. It's not true. I mean, the weather's great. It started off horrible. We had that really depressing 24 hours plus of rain. But then it's been wonderful ever since, although obviously sunburn. So it's like sunburn, well, I kind of expected that. Mattress, not. And this, not. Although I did take the first aid kit just in case. But turns out the first aid kit was shit. And I didn't bring the to save a few grams, I was like, well, you know, I don't have all the dressings and stuff. I didn't bring the little tape. I've got some surgical tape. And I should have brought it, because now that would have been ideal to sort of wrap around and just keep the plasters on. So, yes. Great times. I'm at Clavel Tower, so I should be fairly soon in Kimmeridge Bay. And the sun has gone down. There's people surfing here, actually. It's quite an interesting kind of odd rip thing going on. I don't know if some rocks or ledges. So, we'll see tomorrow. I'm going to take some medication, which involves brandy and wine. Have some food, get showered, and then dress this up first, I think. And then we shall see tomorrow what the hell has happened to the knee. If it does balloon up like a balloon. Great with the similes. Great with the metaphors, aren't they? Then it's going to probably stop the trip. And it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. You know, I've fixed the mattress, and I've hopefully fixed the sunburn with the aloe stuff I've got. I've been protecting it today religiously and spraying on sunblock every hour and just being over sunblocking it and covering it. And being super, super careful, because I don't want to repeat what happened at ended Jaunt 3 when the eczema kicked off, because even though the sunburn was peeling. And the irony is that I've got my shopping and the artwork. I didn't get a chance because of that suddenly strenuous walk, which I thought was going to be simple. It's weird compared to Sunday, which I knew was going to be hard. And so wasn't hard, and actually went really well, and was surprisingly easy. Whereas this has been just a nightmare, and it was not a massively long distance, but it's just everything that has gone wrong, could have gone wrong, has gone wrong. Bar me falling off a cliff, and there's still time. So I'm going to see if I can get a taxi. I think there is a taxi company in the things, but I bet you're going to be like, oh mate, no, I've had my dinner. Anyway, speak to you soon. It is the other day? It is the next day. And, yeah, knee update. I'm sure everyone is like, oh my god, knee. It's not too bad, actually. It's kind of, it did get a bit swollen, and it did get a bit creaky, and it's definitely warmer than my other knee, even now. But I got back to the campsite, I had to shower. I took a taxi, and luckily the taxi came within 10 minutes. It was amazing. I did say I was injured, but that was brilliant. So I got back not too late, and how do the other half live? So much easier than a 3-mile walk. And then I went and had a shower. That's stang. That's stang. That's stung. See, my English is all over the place at the moment. I can't blame the drugs because I don't have any. I'm not even on ibuprofen at the moment because it seems to be okay. Well, it's not okay, but it seems to be right. Seems to be mostly surface, although a bit swollen-y, a bit creaky. And then, and I did actually have. I remember being, thank you, past Tim for making the right decision, because I remember I took out the micro sort of surgical tape, this little roll of surgical tape I got from Boots, and I put it back in last minute. I'd forgotten, and I was like, I've got it. And so, and I had a dressing as well, so I've got tape and a dressing on it now, and a a plaster that actually plastic sticks, but not by Elastoplast. So hey, fuck you, Elastoplast. In fact, I've still got it's stuck to the inside of my rip. The sound of ripping sounds. I've still got the mess in my pocket from last night, which is the Gorilla Tape and Elastoplast concoction to try and make it stick. Now, the reason why that was an issue is that the whole of the rest of the way was various parts differ, obviously, but most of the coastal paths are fairly sort of bare grass. I mean, they have sheep that's livestock quite often graze it. Some bits have gorse and thistles and nettles and scratchy plants and stuff. And guess what? That 1.6 miles to Kimmeridge, there was loads of those, and I was trying to protect it, and rather annoyed that the thing wouldn't stick on. It just fell off, actually. All because I'd worn sunblock, and even with as I had the alcohol wipey thing, even that didn't make it stick. I did that beforehand, and I left it a little while, and then even got a tissue out, but it wasn't sticking. I got a tissue out and sort of, tried to dry the skin, and even the Gorilla Tape was like, nope, and it was like absolute bollocks. So today is going to be hunt for plasters, I think, because I've used up all my medical kit's worth of plasters in one go, because it's supposed to be just an emergency first aid kit. And I haven't been carrying. It's only fairly recently I've been carrying a first aid kit. Actually, I didn't used to, but I used to carry sort of medicines and the odd things, but not really plasters and blister things. So I generally don't get blisters because I don't wear boots. So I wear it's very good. I mean, they're not. I'm not sponsored. I wish. But in the sales, I managed to get half price these Saucony Peregrines. I think they're Peregrines. Of course, they don't say on them what they are. You'll see Saucony. I think they're the Peregrines, and I got them half price, and they are brilliant. I've been wearing them as my sort of main shoe in London, and they haven't worn down. They're not as grippy. I mean, the best ones are the Hedgehogs, and I do have a pair of those in storage, and I probably should dig them out for a trip like this. But they wear down really quickly, and especially the amount of kind of like gravelly, scrabbly, what I call Scrabble, which is, I hate. I've said this many times before, how I hate Scrabble, and I don't mean it's the board game. Just that sort of scree, that's really dangerous, because it's just so easy to slip on that stuff. I mean, the next one is wet grass, but it's like screes. It's just no. I try and walk in the grass if I can, because it's usually better grip. But they're brilliant for that sort of thing. But so much of that sort of scree track, chalk paths, stone, and tarmac just kills them. They just wear down because it's soft rubber. So these are less grippy because they're harder rubber, and amazingly hard, and they're not. I've had them. I got them last year, I think. Sort of late last year. So there's no sign of wear on the soles at all. Really, maybe a little bit, but it's just amazing. I mean, they were recommended by a YouTuber called what's his name? Well, the Backpacking Britain one, the guy that was ex-forces who started walking around various places and while camping and things like that, and he walked 500 miles with them. I walked 500 miles, and they were fine, and it's like, that's impressive. So another thing is that they are usually though I really highly recommend, if you want some, just get on their mailing list and wait, because it seems like obviously when they are sort of either desperate or more likely sort of changing over stock, they'll flog the old ones half price. But yeah, usually they are like over 100 quid, and they're not. I'm sitting under the old oak tree, trying to avoid the acorns it's throwing at me. Oh, that right. I was singing tying yellow guy-lines under old oak tree. It doesn't totally work as a song, but it's true. I do have yellow guy-lines, but I'm not tying them. Oh, that was the other thing. I need to find a bit of string or something, because I like the Kelty backpack. There's one major flaw of it, and if I do a proper video review on the Hard Up Hiker, I will mention this. Some of the zips have been quite cool, sort of like draw things with plastic ends on. Some of the other zips have kind of economy version where they just put a piece of string through and tied it, and you can guess what happens. One of them came untied and kept retying it. I'm crap at knots. And then eventually I lost it during the walk, so I need to find another piece of string. I mean, in a way it's easy to replace, but the problem is in between it's very hard to open and close it when you've lost the little string bit, and it's just like another thing to carry if I have to carry bits of string to replace strings. So yeah, I've probably got some carabiners actually I could probably clip on. I might do that. I don't know if it'll fit through the little hole though. So yeah, there's lots of stuff. I mean, I seem to be doing I know compared to other people's lives, it's might sound really cushy, but on this trip I just managed to do pretty much everything wrong. Started too late. Well, I wanted my past experience of August Bank Holiday, and starting walks too late, which I should know better than that. Although, again, because I'd looked at the Kimmeridge side, that's not too bad. I've actually looked at the elevations in the past, and I'd forgotten there was the big hill before all of that, and there's lots of uppy downy for about. Well, it's really confusing. It kept saying 3 miles, 3 miles, 3 miles. It's like Groundhog Day. But actually, when it was about 2 miles. When I got past all of this stuff, I think I've got a Blue Sky. If you check out fingertrouble.bluesky.social, I think it is. And I commented on there saying, I took a picture of it and like, this is what I've done, and I don't seem to have got very far. And it's true, it was like a mile, but it was much more because it goes up and down, up and down. After that, it's fine. But then I was like, and it's weirdly on the bit that was fairly level is where I fell. And the thing that bothers me more is the fact that on the other side, my other leg has been giving me hell because I don't seem to have broken the skin a bit. There was a bit of a scrape, but I fell down a patch of, I don't know what it was, whether it's poison ivy or a bunch of nettles, and that was like doing that annoying tickly painful thing last night, and that was weird because I was like, usually stings just go away, so that got badly stung. So between the both of them, and that leg is actually a bit more hurty creaky than the other one, weirdly, even though the one is what took the impact. So I don't know what happened there, whether I twisted it or something. But we're gonna see. Go on a plaster hunt. We're going on a plaster hunt, and hope that the Corfe shop isn't crap about that, because the Corfe stores is brilliant about some things. Like I got some my general tip for when you're camping, and the camping just seems to be endlessly putting things in bags and then taking them out again. I have to say, that's my take on camping, is bagging, unbagging. That's what it seems to be. But it's just grab it when you see it, because you quite often think, oh, no, I don't want to carry that, or I'll get it later, and you'll find that your next destination or wherever you go next just randomly doesn't have it. So it probably didn't help carrying some of my shopping across those cliffs. And it was 27 degrees, so that was a bit dumb. But not really. I don't feel bad about that because I know that from harsh experience that things like little cereal packets. They have them at Corfe store. There's a possibility of just one, and even though they have bigger shops, they might not have it. I saw some lovely venison burgers, which I didn't get because I was like, I don't know how they would survive in my backpack in the heat. I don't know much about venison. The safety of venison. I think venison's a bit like beef. I think it's okay if it gets a bit warm. It's not like pork or chicken. But so I really wish I'd gotten those. But I got various things, bits and bobs. Did I have a bottle of wine in there? No. Or did I? I can't remember if I had a bottle of wine in my pack. No, I didn't. But yeah, sort of. So last night I just took loads of drugs: ibuprofen, antihistamine, wine, brandy, and my little minty tablets because my dinner was nice. I did the same very trusty pasta thing with the with my dehydrated mushrooms and my beef jerky. I'm very proud of those. Those are a success of the trip, along with the Nido, which is the Nido milk powder, which is if you're ever camping, I really recommend using Nido because it's very hard to get here. It's really weird. There's a weird kind of thing where, like in hotter countries, you can easily get it. I know it's Nestle, and you can get a non-Nestle brand, which is where is it from? Is it New Zealand or some weird place like that? It might be from Africa, but actually it might be could be Nigerian. But yeah, there is a one called Park something. But you want a full fat if you're hiking. You can get Marvel milk powder, and it is weak as pish, and it's not really nice. So Nido is like this full milk powder, and it is lovely, and it doesn't go off. Because when you've got weather like this, and then the 25, 27, you can't store even the oat milk for very long. You can try using alternate milks, but milk will go off really quickly, or curdle. But also other milks will go off really quickly. And actually the shop here does have some things like that. So I could do fresh, but I hate wasting it. But it's also lighter to carry. Because there's a problem, like quite often on my previous trips I'd have this big fuck off bottle of oat milk or something, and it'd be heavy. And whereas just having the powder and just finding some water, it's a lot easier. And I'm on the second packet of that now. So at some point, if this trip goes on, which I think it will, although I'm having a rest day today, I was thinking moving on to down Baston Lime Regis today. I'm not going to do that today because I was like, well, after that fall, I'm like, I'll take it easy and see how my knee holds up today. But I am going to go do a walk. After I've walked into Corfe, I will. I'm thinking of going back to Kimmeridge, but not that way. Do the Herbert Way up at Knoll Hill, and then go down to using paths and things if I can, avoiding the roads, because I think you can do that. I haven't done it because it's been late at night, and I've been like, well, I don't trust paths. The sad thing about footpaths at night is it's too stressful, and it's too dangerous. So you don't know whether you're about to walk off the side of a cliff or something. And quite often you miss. It's very easy to get lose directions. So I've done it several times. Would not recommend, even with a GPS Osmand usually ticking down on low battery, because by then your battery's really low. I do try and carry spare battery power if I can. And I've got my solar set up here, and that's been pretty good. It went up to a couple of days. It's done 50% of a 10,000 milliamp battery, which is pretty good. So I've been loading up my little thingy with that, and it's charging at the moment in the sunshine. But yeah, I try and always carry emergency reserve spare and go into airplane mode. I mean, it does and have battery saver on all the time at the moment now, but usually it kicks in at 50%. But yeah, doing that, like trying to check that, and then walking through fields with, sheep who are suddenly scared that you're there, and then suddenly find out it's actually a bog, and I've done all those. So I don't walk on paths that I don't know at night. Unless it's, coastal paths, it's a little bit different, or it's still a bit risky at dusk, but whereas the inland paths, you never know, you could go through a quagmire, you could suddenly go through, you find out it's turned into a river, or a stream overnight, and that kind of stuff. It's just too risky at night. So I'll head down there and try and find some of the paths, see if they exist, as we found out yesterday, or the ghost paths that are on Osmand. Some of them might not exist. We'll have some more fun with that. Even the ones that are marked as bridleways and byways and cycleways and that kind of stuff, you've got little colours on them. They're usually reliable, but yeah, as I found, not always. Disappearing paths of Dorset. So we're going to do that, and that'll be probably about 6 miles, and there'll be a few miles into Corfe, mile and a half into Corfe and back, and without a pack into Corfe, because I'm just going to do some shopping and make some lunch now, and hope for taking later. That's the other fun thing, is that I need to find some, though I got some more cabernosh. Amazingly, Corfe stores had cabernosh and Leerdammer, so that's what I mean. They've got some good stuff, but I've learnt my lesson. I'm not going to try and open the packet with a penknife anywhere near the other thing I'm experimenting with is Splenda. Yeah. We're going to try and reduce the amount of sugar I'm eating, which is not so much a bigger thing when I'm exercising like this. You want some, you can't go on a sort of sugar-free kick or a fat-free kick when you're walking 20 miles. You need energy. You need fuel. But it's just, the problem has always been sugar for my coffee, and so I'm trying Splenda, and actually it's pretty good. I like it. So sucralose seems to be one of the safer ones. Sweeteners aren't that unsafe. Obviously they are in high quantities. Little people mowing the lawns, I think. Yes, so on that note, I'll go. I'll speak to you soon.